Welcome back. It's time for our second episode of Socialist Canada. Last time I showed you the opening moves to consolidate your power. And now we have a newspaper to look at. I am going to look at the international section this time. Oh, there you go. The head of NATO has compliments for us. That's nice. The head of government's cabinet leader presents the new government to the press. I'm a model country for NATO, I'm a model country for G7, I'm a model country for the United Nations. Bad figures for unemployment. Chief of staff loves me. Famous tennis player loves me. Pop idol singer loves me. Female at the Vatican. Nothing to do with us. Establish the integration policy. Canada Citizens Movement's leader Sally Beesith officially calls on the parliamentary group to vote for the bill without restrictions. Remember, I asked her to support the bill. So let's see now. Now my party supports it. 93%. I think it was originally 91. So she got our party vote up a little bit. You can ask any member of parliament to promote your bill, but the most influential are the what does she call it? Secretary General. Now I'm the Prime Minister and she's the Secretary General. I used to be called Secretary General in opposition. Youth and Sports Attaché thinks I'm doing a good job. Now let's take a look at the international news. I'm only going to mention anything that I can take action on or that I care about. Most of this stuff I don't care about. Unfortunately, in this Power and Revolution GPS4, it seems like you get so many messages about scandals in other countries. Like, I don't care about legal scandals in other countries. It's not important to my game. So the Somalian armed forces are getting near Kenya. That's probably because Somalia is fighting terrorists. Somalia has a civil war against two different rebel armies, I think. Let's take a look. Okay, here's Somalia. And you can see they've got these ISIS or Al-Qaeda guys down here. And they've got Somaliland, who are trying to separate as well. And where's Kenya? Kenya's down here. So they're fighting ISIS. Oh, there you can see some Somali tanks getting near the border. That's just because they're fighting ISIS. But obviously Kenya is saying, you know, get away from our border. Probably won't lead to conflict, but it might. So it seems like ISIS are retreating from a lot of people. That's good, I guess. Yeah, Kenyan military units advanced toward the borders in anticipation of an attack by Somalia. And the Minister for Foreign Affairs officially informs Somalia of Kenyan government's disapproval with regard to the troops stationed near its borders. Look Look at all these countries with similar flags. Chad, Andorra, Romania. Almost identical. Chad and Romania are identical, are they? Wow. I never knew that. So the head of Venezuela is not very popular. What I like to do in this game is I like to help socialist and communist governments in democratic countries. So Venezuela has a communist party, federal republic, presidential. Venezuela is an economic basket case in this game and in real life. But I'm going to give them some aid. Oh, right now we're giving them 0. I'll start them off with 10 million a year. And I'm going to meet their president, who is a new guy. So the original guy must have got kicked out. Oops, I just closed the newspaper by accident. Here's how you can see the old copies. You open up your tab, newspaper, and you can see all the different editions. So, where are we here? Okay, and that's the end of the newspaper. If a country elects a new government that is socialist or communist and they're a democratic country, or if they already have one but the government starts to get in trouble, like big strikes or riots or sit-ins, or you see messages about their lack of popularity, I do like to give them some support. So I send them some foreign aid to help their budget a little bit. I try to increase it like in steps. So Venezuela was at 0. I'll start them with 10 million. If I send them aid again, I'll double it. Usually that's what I do. I just double it. So I'll go to 20 million, 40 million, whatever. So yeah, let's go forward and meet them. We have red relations, so they don't like us. So what I'll do is butter them up a bit, offer a coffee.
Please, let's stop.
Ooh, achievement unlocked, summit meeting.
Concentrate on the important questions.
See, he's being rude to me. He doesn't like me. I love your country.
I hope you didn't make me come here to hear you discussing your favorite holiday resorts.
And yeah, he's still totally red. So, you know, I can't propose a military alliance, but I will create a sale. I'll try to create a sales contract. As I showed you in the last video, our biggest sector is utility vehicle construction. And we have a surplus in that, quite a big one. We produce way more than we consume. Oh, and he doesn't. They produce 50 a year. Wow, that's weird. That's a pretty strange amount to produce. It consumed 50,000. So let's offer them, yeah, but we'll offer them about a quarter of their needs. And you can see their purchase price is higher than our sales price, which is good. So I'll just offer this number, which is halfway in between. See what they say. Oh, they counter-offered with a real lowball number. So I'm going to offer them... I'm not really doing this contract to make money. I'm just doing it to try to improve relations. So I'm going to offer them $165,000. That's just above our sale price. So we would still make a profit off this deal. It would increase our economy a little bit, but he would make a nice deal out of it. He would save $7,000, $8,000 per unit. He still doesn't like it. Let's try one more time. It might be impossible. They might hate us so much we can't make a deal. Hopefully over time, if we keep increasing our foreign aid, maybe they'll soften up a bit. So let's try like 164, 400. This really wouldn't make us much profit, just a tiny bit. Hopefully they'll take it. Still no. Alright. This will be my last offer. 164, 350. 330. Why not? This way we just making a profit. Nah, still refuse it. Okay. Have a nice day. Sorry we couldn't come to an agreement. And now I can just forward to the next event. If this starts to take too long, I will take a break in the recording. Yeah, okay. Alright, head of security wants to talk to me. The oldest person in the country, Isabel de Brun, scandal and collateral damage. Wow.
This person is at risk of a scandal. Given your links, the affair could have a negative impact on your image, and in incalculable ways, even with the help of Schaefer's paradigm. Would you like to try to stifle this unfortunate story?
So we could try to cover up her scandal, because since her and I are friends, her scandal could cost me popularity. But I'm not going to try to do that. If we get caught doing that, sometimes the press catches on, and then it's even bigger trouble. Sorry, Isabel. You're going to have to deal with your problems. Oh, yeah. Each time there's a new newspaper, so about once a week, I like to check on the international disasters. These two, Japan atomic radiation, that's the Fukushima, and Ukraine atomic radiation, that is Chernobyl. So those are like from before the game start. I'm not going to worry about them. But here are some others. France had a volcanic eruption. Damage estimate 485. I'm going to give them 10 million bucks. You know, Canada isn't the biggest country in the world, but I do like to send some relief when countries have a disaster. Same for Vanuatu and their tsunami. And then I also like to go to the other organizations. NGO. There are 4 NGOs. IGA, that's like Greenpeace or something like that. IOHA, that is the International Organization of Humanitarian Assistance, Aid, like the Red Cross. And I'm going to help them financially with 50 million. That's the lowest amount. Well, I mean, you could set it manually lower. So I'm going to send them 50 million bucks a year, the Red Cross. I think funding these NGOs helps your overall diplomatic status. Like, other countries will like you more. And then later in the game, when I make a law that's like pro-human rights, I'm going to fund them. And when I make a law that's pro-environment, I'm going to fund them. This one here is the World Association Against Liberalism. So it's the Ultramondialists. They also have national associations, and they also have this, an international version. So when I make some law that's like pro-worker, kind of, you know, anti-capitalist, I will also send them some money. Let's see. So yeah, the president of Venezuela said nice things about our meeting, even though we didn't accomplish anything. And he thanks us for the increase in aid. Okay, what did Isabel do? Isabel de Brun takes the mickey out of police officers. The matter would have remained in the dark if it hadn't thrown such a well-known personality to center stage. Isabel de Brun attempted to corrupt policemen during questioning for speeding. But the story does not stop there. After the refusal of these honest agents and an initial indictment for attempting to corrupt officers, the oldest person in country repeated the offense with the chief of the central police station. The outcome, a second indictment for verbal assault on a police officer. Poor de Brun couldn't bear the refusal of her second attempt at bribery. The meeting with the judge is awaited with impatience. So she was speeding, a 112-year-old speeding, and then she tried to bribe the police. I don't know how realistic that is. Oh yeah, it's Halloween. Okay, I'm going to pause the recording now unless there's something interesting in the newspaper. I'm not going to make you watch me read the newspaper every week during this playthrough. Nothing really that interesting in the newspaper. Now Somalia complained to Kenya for having troops too close to their border. So I guess it's possible they could have a conflict. But here we are now. It's November 2nd. I like to pause I forwarded a little bit after reading the newspaper. Nothing happened. Now it's November 2nd. I like to pause the game on the 2nd of every month and check a few indicators. The first one is our growth. I want to see which way it's headed. Okay, our growth is fairly low, but it is rising. Okay. So right now it's at 1.15. But a month ago in October it was maybe about 1.10. Okay. Next one I want to check is inflation. What's our inflation at? Inflation is low, but it is growing. So at 1.02, and it's growing. So I want to keep an interest rate. When inflation is rising, I like to keep the interest rate 0.5% above it. So inflation plus 0.5%. So I'm going to set it to 1.52. You have to fight inflation all year in this game until December. And then you want to really lower your interest rate. Because in this game, inflation is keyed to slowly catch up to growth. If your growth is high, inflation will rise. If your growth is low, inflation will fall. And it will slowly move towards about the same figure, I think. Same percentage. So, but in January, the growth forecast and the inflation sort of reset a bit. So what you want to do all year, you want to fight inflation, keep it low, and then in December, just maximize your growth. Because it's at the end of the year that the yearly growth is calculated. And it really affects your overall economy. It happens at the, on January 1st as the new year processes every year. So what you want to do is, fight inflation all year. Then in December, put the interest rate to the lowest setting and maximize your growth. And then in January, you'll raise the inflation again. It's a little bit of gaming the system, but the system isn't realistic anyways. In real life, inflation doesn't follow growth. Inflation is based on all kinds of factors. Wages, production, imports and exports. It's basically supply versus demand stuff. So anyways, I am gaming the system in the game, but the game itself doesn't do it realistically. Now, I also want to check out unemployment. It is growing still. It's 7.67. And I want to check the crime rate. Crime rate is falling. Okay, good. So, what I want to do then, for work, I want to do something to stop the unemployment from rising. As unemployment rises, your deficit suffers because you're paying more and more people on unemployment insurance. So we want to get that down. What I'm going to do... Should I do this now? It's November. I don't know if it's a good time to do this. I'm thinking of putting in the 39 hour work week, which was one of my campaign promises. But we're in the fourth quarter, so that'll hurt our growth for the end of the year. I don't think I'm going to do that. What I'm going to do then... Oh, I know what... I'm just going to fund the work sector. Help for employing young people. Help for employing seniors. Checks on the... no, I'm not going to do that. Combat employment discrimination. Checks on gender equality in the workplace. Fight against child labor. Integration of the handicapped into the workplace. I would normally raise employment agency, but it's already at the second highest level. And that would cost, 2.8 billion. So I'm not going to do that unless I need to later. For now, this is good enough. This is a little bit expensive, but we do need to fight unemployment. You can see our surplus only took 0.09% hit there. So I think it's worth it. And I'm not going to introduce any legislation because I already did 2 things in late October. And I don't want to rush too much. So let's keep going forward. Ominous. Here's the National Bank Director talking about the interest rate increase. Prime Minister, according to your orders, the central bank has just raised its interest rate. This should encourage savings and, with fewer demands, induce deflationary action. There is, of course, the risk that consumption will be affected for too long and that both people and businesses will borrow less, which would slow growth and would cause a rise in unemployment. But this is a risk we must take if you wish to improve our economy in the long term. I agree. Yeah. Raising in the interest rate decreases, it fights inflation. Cutting the interest rate helps jobs, it helps growth, but it encourages inflation. So that's what we want to do at the end of the year, in December. And we had a whole bunch of smiley faces there. Everybody loves us for the funding we gave in the work tab. Anti-racism, humanitarian, handicap, employment, social, and old folks, young people, family, women's rights. They all love us. Some of that might be, it looks like the law passed on immigration. So let's just forward by 1 day, and I think we'll get that message. The amnesty has passed. The amnesty has come into effect.
The decree takes effect as of today.
Okay. Enemy units spotted. Director of Intelligence Agency. Prime Minister, one of our satellites discovered jihadist caliphate's enemy units in the eastern Aleppo region. Strikes are now possible based on site-specific objectives. So remember, I repositioned the satellite slightly at the beginning of the game. Here it is. You can see its range, and you can see, yeah, we found a ISIS camp here, a base. But we already brought our fighters and drones home, so we're not going to worry about it. If I ever have any reason to redeploy that satellite somewhere else, I will. But for now, might as well just leave it there. Achievement unlocked, legislation. Did our immigration thing pass, or is that just for the amnesty? Oh, immigration thing passed, I think. Let's go forward by a day. What's going on? Yeah, okay. Alright. Law on integration policy.
The bill has been voted on and the law has been passed.
Good. Speaker of the House, good start. For a first bill, it's a success. Congratulations, Prime Minister. You have succeeded in coaxing the National Assembly into an agreement. Great. So I think we're not going to have to deal with any of those scripted riots near the beginning of the when you come into power at all. It looks like we've avoided them totally, which is awesome. I don't know if you like that or not as a viewer. Maybe it's exciting to watch those riots, but you can see them in any number of other videos out on YouTube already. Check out my list of suggested posters. YouTubers, they're great. They're also great GPS YouTubers, and you can watch riots on their videos if you want. They're annoying when you play, to be honest. Once you've seen one or two, it starts to get boring and annoying. You have to micromanage it, so I'm glad we avoided it. And yeah, now we're running along smoothly. Next episode, you will see my end of year stuff. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get to do a lot of the fiscal stuff I want to do this year because we came to power already so late. It was near the end of October, so already halfway through the fourth quarter. This game, the fiscal thing runs on quarters. So in the next year, in 2017, you'll see how I like to really manage the economy and the budget. But for now, you can still see some of it. I'll explain what to do at the end of the year next episode. See you then. Thank you for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. And please vote on my poll on what I should do for my next playthrough. If you look in the comments of any of my recent videos or on my channel discussion, you will see the link where you can vote. Or feel free to just suggest what you want me to do in the comments. The leading contender right now is to play as the government of one of the poorest countries in the game. And another option I thought of would be to try to save the Venezuelan economy. But I'm going to leave it up to you guys. I'll take any suggestion. Really, whatever you guys vote for is what I'll try. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.